Okay, it says I'm live. Okay, there we go. Let me know if y'all can see me now. You should be able to. Okay, it says I'm live. Okay, there we go. But I don't want to hear me. Okay, there we go. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Peace. What's going on? Okay, y'all can see me. Okay, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, this technology be stressing me out. Woo! It's been so long since I've done a live. Oh my goodness. Y'all, please excuse me. I have had to be so focused on figuring out how to run my website, and I've been so directed in that direction that I completely forgot how to operate this space. So thank you for being patient with me, because Lord have mercy. Oh, I need somebody else to do this type of stuff for me, for real. Like, I cannot. What's up? What's up? Good. Let me see. Let me make sure my sound is good. Y'all can hear me good. Let me know. Peace, family. How y'all doing? What's up? What's up? Let me just check all of my bells and whistles and make sure that I am good to go, because once I start talking, I don't want to get sidetracked. Zoom, don't fail me now. Let's just exit out of that so I don't have too many screens up. Okay, what's up? Peace to everybody in the chat room. Thank you to my good sister for holding me down in the chat room. What's up? What's up? Samantha, what's good, sis? Silk Stargazer, peace, what's good? Super KSO9, Ashley, what's up? Let's see, Chris G, peace, how you doing? Sadie's Butler, Rhythm Rhymes and Elsewhere, Pretty Black, and Shirley Duncan, JP, what's up? Fibonacci Brown, what's good? Queen, how you doing? Queen Shah, how you doing, my sister? Marcus, peace. Saja, OKC, you from the city? Natigal, what's good, Queen? What's up, y'all? Peace and love, family. How y'all doing? Let me just real quick drop one thing in the chat room, just to make sure everybody knows where to get my content. ZaZaAli.com. Assalamu alaikum to you too. All right. Okay. Woo, Lord, talk about stressful. All I want to do is just come online and just talk to my people. I don't want to have to deal with all of this technology stuff. It stresses me out. And I know how to, move and groove and navigate the system and whatnot. But really, I just want to come and speak my piece and then be out of here. That's just the way that I'm wired. So thank you guys for your patience. It took me an extra 20 minutes to get this fully set up the proper way. I see what I did wrong, and I won't do that again. But thank you guys for your patience, and thank you so much for being here. I'm definitely thankful for your time, for your energy. Let me just re-record this. Record on Zoom, just in case YouTube takes the video down. I have learned from being censored, heavily censored for 3 years. If by chance they take this video down, then it will just be available on my website for free, of course, because I have properly learned how to navigate censorship. And as I said in the promo video for this conversation, you can't cancel God. So everybody who knows me and who knows my platform knows that I am no stranger to talking about the things that people are scared to talk about. And that's what we're going to do today. So much love to everybody in the chat room. Peace and love to all of the queens, to all of the goddesses, to all of the women who take pride in being a woman, who take pride in carrying themselves in a righteous, high vibration. And when I say high vibration, I'm not necessarily talking about what you wear or won't wear. I'm talking about understanding that your energetic resonance and your electromagnetic frequency is affecting the people around you. So if you lead with sex, then you're going to attract people that are leading with sex. And if you lead with love, then you're going to attract people that are leading with love. And if you lead with righteousness, etc., etc. I've been in several conversations over the past couple of weeks. I've been a lot more active on social media, and I'm going to be a lot more active on YouTube for these next couple of months before I gracefully bow out into fade to black for a minute, because I'm definitely planning on doing that, especially as the situation on the ground continues to increase and the insanity and, dare I say, fuckery, excuse my language, but some things have to be said explicitly. And that's one of the things. Earth has become a clown show, and America is leading the charge. And so there are a lot of conversations that are being had that are of a very circus-like temperament. And it's one of the reasons why I kind of strayed away from talking about these things for a while. Who was it? I think it was Jay-Z that said, real ninjas, like, why Hope talking to dude? It's almost like I feel like to even be talking about certain things sort of validates it, right? And so, but queens must do queen things, and goddesses must do goddess things. And so as the concubine culture continues to escalate, and if you don't think that the concubine culture and the fact that every time you log on to Instagram or to social media, you see a Black woman in particular shaking her ass in front of the camera, if you don't think that that is connected to or correlates to the extreme level of disrespect by people, I'm going to say people as I'm being nice, by people who are trying to segue or bully or elbow their way into the dichotomy of what we call womanhood. If you don't think that the females online disrespecting themselves, disrespecting Black women, disrespecting Black culture, in the name of Africa, by the way, please be careful about what you say in my chat room today, because it's fire in my belly right now. I'm not watching the chat, but please be mindful. You got to take off your shoes when you walk in my house. This is the ZaZa Ali show. We don't do disrespect here, directly or indirectly. If you don't think that the Keke Palmers of the world, bless her soul, bless your soul, you silly young woman, you gonna let these silly ass women put you in a position of losing your man and breaking up your family. For what reason? That's not even relative to today's conversation, but I'm just making a point. And I want to make sure that I say thank you to, what's her name? Jess Hilarious, for being one of the few that would actually even talk about this, right? She got the momentum going on the conversation, and now you see more people actually talking about it. But she's one of the few, especially celebrities, who have absolutely 2024 were shown 98.24% of them are NPCs, non-playable characters, rich as they may be, wealthy as they may be. They don't step outside of the confounds of their programming. So what did I say? 98.24%, give or take 5%? Non-playable characters, not standing up or speaking up for anything that actually matters, while you guys live vicariously through them and ride or die. They won't say anything to defend you or your children, but that's a side note. Just hilarious. Thank you very much for standing up and saying what needed to be said. Now, I have to say, because a lot of you females nowadays are game goofy. We call it game goofy in Oakland. We used to. I have to say, I just have to give I have to qualify my support for Just Hilarious, because I can't forget that years ago, she did some really game goofy. So I'm trying not to cuss so much as the fire is burning. She made some real game goofy moves when she did a photo shoot with her son. It was very distasteful. Why am I bringing that up? Because a lot of you females nowadays are game goofy. And so you'll say something powerful and intelligent on Monday, and then on Wednesday, you'll be online sucking a cucumber. So I just need to make sure that I make these statements so that the passport bros and all of their minions don't hit me up and start, forgetting everything else I said in this video and emphasizing the fact that I shouted out Just Hilarious, okay? I just need to say that. We don't do concubine culture over here. This is queen energy. This is goddess energy. And a queen and a goddess are not the same. Both are worthy of respect, though. But respect has to be earned. So we're going to talk about the lack of respect for women. And again, I'm just going to emphasize that concubine culture, particularly in Black women in America, particularly with Black celebrities in America, has absolutely opened the door for all of the he, she, they, them, it, we, us, et cetera, to think that you can just go online and pop off at the mouth and talk shit. The first question I have to ask is, who is your mother? Did you come from a womb? And then I'd have to ask, were you a test tube baby? Because with the situation on the ground right now, I think it's important for us to go back and look at the science over the last 30 years. IVF treatments, surrogate mothers, Handmaid's Tale. Using science to delineate the original science. You get what you pay for. So now we have a culture of, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, millions, hundreds of millions of automatons who walked yourself right into danger. And you walked into danger, AKA needles, because you have no spiritual discernment. And you have no spiritual discernment because you're not connected to source. And if you're online arguing that a man who was born a man and is now a woman, and you want to charge me, I'm Exhibit A. Me, ZaZa Ali, I'm Exhibit A. Case study, full-fledged 100% homegrown woman. Pushed a child out of my body, co-created with a man, didn't need science, didn't need technology, no nip tuck, no additions, no fillers, no filters. I woke up like this. You see me. Full-fledged 100% woman. Womb. Oh, we're going to talk about it today. I got fire breathing in the pit of my stomach. We're going to talk about it today. I'm not worried about being canceled, and don't warn me about being canceled. What you should be doing is making sure I never get canceled. But you should have been doing that in 2021 when I was trying to warn you that the same scientists that created the technology and the ability to give you breasts or to nip tuck are the same scientists that put poison in needles. We'll just use the pen as the replica of the needle. So I'm Exhibit A. I have a son. My son is 20 years old. He's a young king in the making. Very, 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 very proud of him. So please understand that as we talk about this conversation in terms of gender, what you identify, right? Understanding that at the top of the pyramid is the male and the female, the man and the woman. I am here 100% equally representing both. Because as much as I love women and sisters, it's something about a man. Woo-wee. But I wasn't even going there. My son is a young man. And I love women and I love my sisters, but nobody is more important than he is. And he's going to inherit this world. He's going to have to grow up. He's growing up in this world, finding his way as a young man, navigating the concubine culture and all of the concubines that are reproducing themselves in your daughters. And then the men that don't want to be men anymore because they don't have any proper righteous representations of manhood, and they see strong women all around them. So these young brothers identify with strength. And since there are no long-standing, continuous, no continuity in powerful men, not to be confused with rich men. I think LeBron James proved that point. I think LeBron James verified that you can be worth $500 million and not have any power. Yeah, I said it. Sending love and the best power. See, this is what a woman does. Sending all love, all righteous energy, the energy of all of the queens and the goddesses that came before us. The original Dundadas. Love and healing and powerful energy to that young man to fully heal his body. But I still have to call a spade a spade. And I'm wondering what's going through his mother's mind, going back to righteousness and womanhood, to ever allow your son to step foot on USC's basketball team's floor when they forced your son to put that poison in his body. I'm just saying, we're talking about womanhood, right? Y'all got it twisted with this fit, feminine, and friendly shit. Yeah, we can do all those things. I do all of those things 90% of the time. But when I'm on YouTube, it's towards walk soft and carry a big stick. So I've already gone into a tailspin and I haven't even made my announcements. I don't even know how long I've been talking yet. I might be a little bit all over the place. Normally I like to have a presentation together where I have everything in synchronicity, but I didn't want to spend too much time, because when I start spending too much time, I get sidetracked and then it becomes all about the information and less about having a soul-to-soul, heart-to-heart conversation. So I have several pages and things up that I'm going to be kind of toggling between the pages. So just bear with me here. But I do have a few announcements to make real quick. I have told you guys in my email list, I've told you guys on social media, I am no longer offering one-on-one consultations. Tomorrow is the last day to sign up for a one-on-one consultation. So if you've ever wanted to speak to me publicly to assist you in your life endeavors, tomorrow is the last day that you can sign up for that. If you do sign up, those consultations will be good until the end of 2023, and you can schedule them at any time. I also have a membership channel. I get a lot of message when people saying, ZaZa, we need you out. We need to hear from you, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the thing about it is 3 years of nonstop censorship it takes its toll. And going back to the conversation about canceling, the censorship should have never been allowed to affect me as much as it did if the love that I experienced in the comments on YouTube were actually manifested into real life support of me. And I'm not just talking about buying my books or sending Cash App donations. I'm talking about making sure that my content stays alive and sharing it all across. See, I've paid a heavy price for teaching truth, for researching, for staying abreast, for doing what women are actually supposed to do. I've paid a heavy price over the last 3 years. So I have a membership channel. I put up content all the time. I put up a video last night called The Rabbit Effect, talking about the ability of the internal body to take unhealthy food or processed food or dangerous food into the system, and based on the vibrational resonance and countenance in the internal body, that it can actually shift the frequency and ingest and digest the food to serve you in its highest capacity. I'm just saying, this is what goddesses do. We transmute energy. We transmute information. So my membership channel, I'll put information of all of that in the description. I didn't even do it because I just was like, let me just go online. Let me just get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to be announcing tour dates really soon. I am in the 24th hour of the printing process of Ancient People, my social studies and history textbook. Thank you so much to everybody who pre-ordered the book. Thank you for your patience. This has been a very tedious and monotonous, I don't think monotonous is the word, but tedious and stressful process. But I have created a 310-page full color social studies and history textbook that I assure you is going to change the game. So I had to get it right. I had to get it ready and get it right. Transmuting timelines from 5,000 years ago to present today to 2025 to 2030, because that's the timeline that the devil is on. Satan has marker points 2025 and 2030. To the women that are listening to me, do you know that? Because it's your job to know that. You talk about keepers of time. Who's keeping time? We know who created time. Who's keeping time? While you online twerking and shaking your ass. So those are the announcements. I also wrote, I'm also prepping for girls events in these cities where I do these events. I want to do events specifically for girls that are catered around my Keys to Womanhood workbook. And I get irritated every time I see people say, no, women aren't saying anything. I beg your pardon. Y'all are just waiting for celebrities to say it. And you're gonna be waiting a long time. So I want to set up girls events in the cities where I do events where I can have the girls come and not have to pay anything and just show up and create presentations and events that are rooted in love, that are rooted in womanhood. See, we're not gonna have to talk about sexual surgery and tucking and removing and cutting and nip tuck. And another reason why a lot of this disrespect is taking place, because a lot of you females are being shaped and molded in the image of men who want to be women. And if you look at a lot of the content, I'm going to show a couple of the videos today. It's the hair, it's the drag queen makeup, it's the lashes, it's the body. Who created BBLs? Let's ask the question. Who created BBLs and why? The imagery of a lot of the representation of women nowadays. Who's zooming you? Who created you? So I told you I'm gonna be all over the place, but I have y'all know I don't play when it comes to the making the research, making the science make sense, because that's what I'm all about. So let me make sure I got my notes together. We're going to talk about what a woman is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Yes, we're going to deal with the science. The science is the easy part. And you people look silly as I don't know. You look silly as all outdoors, online, yapping and yelling and confronting women, trying to challenge a woman about what a woman is. I tell you what, I don't even do debates. This is the debate I would take up. Bring me your loudest, most fierce, most intelligent, most qualified, cis male, cis female, I don't know, you're running out of pronouns. Now, here's what I require in order for this meeting to take place. I need you to take off the weave, take off the wig, take off the makeup, take off the lashes, and come and sit in front of the camera exactly as I've sat in front of the camera today. I woke up looking like this. I didn't put a lot of effort into what you see right now. So let's set up a debate and have a conversation, but I want you to show up as your original self and argue with me about what a woman is. I breastfed my son. I pushed a child out of my body. You don't respect the portal that manifests from the seen to from the unseen to the seen realm. You don't respect God. You don't love God. You don't know God, because if you did, you would recognize the miracle. Let me drink some water. Starting to sweat. The miracle of the co-creation process of taking a sperm. Let's deal with the science. Actually, I have a video to show. Let me share my screen real quick. And so we're gonna do this. I just want to make sure that my screen share is active. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna show a couple of videos just to deal with the science, because a lot of this doesn't even need to be, reiterated. But I deal with science and I deal with actual facts. So let's look at it. Oh, well, this is a good one, but I'm not there yet. Let me just come back to deal with the science. I got all these videos saved on Instagram. Save me some time. So this is the process of 300 million sperm leaving the male's testicles and going through the bodies, making their way through the body. Most of these sperm won't even make their way up to the fallopian tubes. But this is the process of how we all became to be. So all of these sperm are trying to penetrate the egg. Only 2 to 3 of them will actually reach the egg. And the sperm that are allowed to reach the egg are determined by the fallopian tubes. This is science. You better respect the architect. You better respect the process, respect the science, because this is not debatable. You don't know a surgeon in the world that's going to help you that's going to make you manifest that. But let's go back to the science. Let's deal with it. What are we looking at? A woman. This is what my body is acclimated for. When I was born as an infant baby, my body was already equipped with all of the technology that you see. No surgery necessary. Now let me tell you what the video doesn't tell you. When the child is breastfeeding, the saliva of the child is going back into, you see that process of that line that's going up and then coming back down. The saliva of the child goes back into the veins of the breast and is alerting the mother if the child has any sicknesses. The line goes up to her brain. She registers the problem in her brain, and then the body starts to create the nutrients to absolve whatever the issue or disease or sickness is. This is science. Argue with God. You don't respect God, you don't love God. That's why I have no mercy for you. I mean, if this isn't a miracle, I don't know what is. Now, let me just bring myself up back real quick so I can I need to make a statement here. We're going to come back to this in just a second because there's more. I need to make a statement here because I'm going to show you what the emotional importance of being a woman is, because I can see the full picture. I can still speak in love and check you very kindly and compassionately. That's not what I want. I want to stop sharing my screen. Okay, let's see. It's been a minute since I did this, y'all. Y'all gotta bear with me. Thank y'all. I see y'all in the chat room. Just gotta bear with me here. It's been a minute since I did this. I don't even remember how to stop my screen. Okay, here we go. So new share. Okay, here we go. I see what happened. I have my other monitor in the background. And it's not supposed to be there though. All right, stop share. Okay. Now this is the emotional maturation of the woman, right? I said we're gonna do mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, right? So that's part of the science. Y'all playing with God, and it you know what I'm saying? It gets me it's like the people spraying chemtrails, if they're even human beings. The jury's still out on that at this point. I saw somebody ask me, what do I think about they cloned Tyrone? I think if they gave Tyrone the Jim Jones juice, they don't need to clone him. That's what I think. So this is the emotional aspect of womanhood and of being a woman. I can still see you as a human being. I can still value your existence and not make mockery of you or minimize the importance of your life, because I understand that as a spiritual being, the possibility of you having traveled through third dimensional reality multiple times, incarnating and reincarnating into the physical reality. Let me make sure I share. I gotta hold on. I'm not trying to share my screen. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't want to share my screen. You guys can see me. Okay, cool. I respect the spiritual process of having to navigate into third dimensional reality across multiple timelines in order to clean up residual energy from previous past lifetimes where you may have been a man, or you may have been a woman, or you may have been a slave, or you may have been a master. So you may have come into this lifetime to experience life as a ... So on a certain level, it is up to you and your soul to transmit, transmute, or whatever the experience of this lifetime is supposed to be, as a gay man, as a gay woman, as a transgender, et cetera, whatever the identification is. Most of your experience is beyond me and beyond the people who are online criticizing or talking, et cetera, et cetera. So I, as a queen, and as a goddess, because we talking spiritual sciences now. Spiritual sciences and emotion are 100% complementary when you have the proper understanding. And this is how I know you're not in your righteous mind, because if you were, there's no way you'd be spending all of your time sitting online projecting your mental illness or your insecurity or your lack of self-love and self-awareness, trying to tear down and minimize the wounds that brought you into this reality. So I have mercy. Your life has value. You matter. I can see you even outside of your insanity. I can show you love. I can transmit love through this frequency and through this process, and not minimize or make mockery of you like most people will do. Because I'm a woman. So the emotional aspect of this is that women are the heart of the planet. You know, everybody, men in particular like to make mockery of the fact that women are emotional. That's because you don't understand God. If you understood God, then you would be not making mockery of women being emotional, but emphasizing the importance of operating in the love frequency, which is the highest frequency, which is the greatest emotion that there is. You stop making mockery of women being emotional and understand and respect the fact that women are sacred because they are emotional. We operate through the heart chakra. That's where all the power is. You can be as logical and analytical as you want to. But what that heart look like? What's that compassion looking like? What do you love? Who do you love? What are you protecting through the essence of your emotional resonance? The average person can be measured, their electromagnetic field or their aura can be measured from 6 feet away. The average person, that's your vibrational countenance. That's your energetic resonance. What do you think your energetic resonance is made of? Your ability to love. So if you don't love women, then you're just taking up space. How are you gonna hate the womb that brought you into the world? I'm talking to men too, because Lord knows. Y'all love a good fuck boy. Pardon my language, but it's the only appropriate way for me to say it. I'm very underwhelmed and underimpressed with the male representation on social media and in the world for that matter. But back to the subject. So we did some of the science, right? So just to emphasize the point, I'm not here to make mockery. I'm not here to tell you who to be. I probably wouldn't even be making this video if I hadn't seen so many videos of these crazy characters Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said, anybody that's constantly saying, I am superior, I am superior, I am superior, is probably not feeling superior. Well, let's use her methodology. Anybody that's constantly saying, I am a woman, I am a woman, I am a woman, probably has some internal reflection to do. In the book, ZaZaAli, the book talks about, and I constantly reference this, there's a mental gender section in this book. That's not the point I want to make. This is by the great African writer Tahuti. I said that wrong one video, so I messed his name up. So I want to make sure, because we give props to the Greeks for this book, which is completely inaccurate. This book was written by Tahuti, the great African scribe. There's a whole chapter in here about mental gender. So just to put everything in context from a spiritual vantage point, when we leave this place, my soul is not a woman. When you leave this place, your soul is not a man. You're going back to the essence. You're going back to pure positive energy. You're going back to the divine consciousness, the soup, the unseen realm. So we having a conversation about third dimensional reality, but this is in the level of the pyramid, we're on like the second tier. This is dealing with the full pyramid, including the top. It says the closer you are to source energy, the freer you are, meaning God. The further you are away from source energy, the more bound you will be. How do we know we're dealing with people who are bound or who are in prison or who are not free mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically? Because you're online minimizing and demeaning the wounds that gave you life. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. Are you free? Why does your freedom have anything to do with me? Why does your power have anything to do with demeaning and minimizing women? Why are you at war with the wombs that gave you life? Come back to my screen share. I try to do this in a more smooth way. Bear with me, family. So, woo. All right, so you see I got the Moorish architecture in the background. This is one of the images from ancient people, because we do powerful God consciousness. We tap into the beauty and the power and the magnificence of the ancestors. So all throughout this beautiful architecture, you will find sacred geometry embedded in the tiles, embedded in the architecture, embedded in the infrastructure. Now, the sacred geometry is the real science of the spiritual sciences, but let me stay on point. Let's go back to Instagram, because this is where the devil plays. Now, if I had created this image, obviously I would have used images that are more reflective of people who look like me, but you get the point. I want to talk about the connection to transhumanism, because we're dealing with the science, right? We want to talk about the science, right? Why is there such an emphatic push in the media and in the news and on all the blogs and on all the so-called Black blogs and on all the television programming and every single where you see this, they are uplifting and edifying this concept of transgenderism. The same people who are poisoning billions of people around the world. The same people who are creating 15-minute cities. The same people that are buying up and destroying farmland all around the world. They are 100% gung-ho trying to destroy every fabric of human society. The planet is under attack. Everybody's under attack except you. Make it make sense. They got Target selling t-shirts that says Satan loves transgender. What say you, LGBTQ community? You got Target selling bathing suits for boys, babies that have tucking elements built within the bathing suits. If you was a woman, you would be completely disgusted. Because you know what it takes to create life. You know what it takes to push life out of your body. You know what it takes to raise and rear and sacrifice and cultivate an actual human being. You would be offended. You would be disgusted, but you're not, because you're only concerned with yourself, which goes back to my original point. This is why I'm a woman, because I care, because I'm invested, not only with my son, but with everybody's son, with everybody's child. This is what it looks and feels like to be a real woman. And there's no benefit to me. Well, I won't say there's no benefit to me. That's not what I meant to say. There's no direct, I'm not being rewarded for that. There's no financial gain for me in that. I'm not gaining brownie points with anybody where it's going to benefit me somewhere down the line. That's just because my heart is strong and full and operating at full capacity, which is what God created me for. Where's yours? Yeah, sometimes I got to get gully. It just is what it is. Y'all keep talking about we don't need strong women. Yeah, okay. Now, I ain't talking about physically strong. I'm talking about mentally strong. I'm talking about emotionally strong. I'm talking about spiritually strong. What's the connection between the transgender concept and the science and the technology of transhumanism? You think the words sound so similar just by chance? You're not even paying attention. You think everybody in the world is under attack? Men are under attack? And men are 100% under attack. That's what makes me a woman, because I can see it, because I care. Y'all around here listening to and worshiping these dumbass females online that are disrespecting and desecrating men. A lot of you females you're questionable too. You could be a lesbian. Does that mean you so you gotta hate men at the same time? And I'm not even making I'm not saying that all lesbians hate men, but the females that you guys are promoting and watching and signing up for, you don't sit up and listen to a female talk about dogging a man and dragging a man for 2 hours in the comments, celebrating and cheering that stupid shit. Again, but I'm a woman. You see, I see the full picture. I'm not only representing the things that are in my best interest. I care about the fullness of humanity. I care about the condition of men. I have a son. I care about the well-being, the mental and the emotional and the spiritual condition of the men of the world, because I'm a woman. It's natural. Nobody had to teach me. God gave it to me. Thank you. What's the connection between transgender and transhumanism? And what does it have to do with the technology that they put in over 6 billion people's bodies over the last 3 years? You want to talk? Let's talk. You want to talk about science? Let's talk about the science of an operating system. Let's talk about the science of the operating system that's going up in your body and altering and changing and deleting and adding and affecting your ability to think rationally, affecting your ability to love, affecting your ability to have compassion. to see clear, to have clarity, to be thorough. With all due respect, I don't think women are your problem. I just gotta bear with me. It's just, I got fire breathing in the pit of my stomach. Woo-wee. Okay, let's see. Here we go.
This sounds like science fiction. It's not. We can't even tongue-in-cheek joke about it being like science fiction because it's so deadly serious. And I'm going to give you a slideshow here of several Time magazine covers, starting, the date is on the left, starting in 1971. And just kind of think, where were you when these covers appeared? I mean, isn't Time magazine always in the grocery store line? Well, in 1971, this cover touted the new genetics, man into Superman. Never heard a discussion back then. I don't know what I was doing in 1971. I clearly wasn't paying attention. How about 1977? The DNA Führer, tinkering with life. How about 1984? Shaping life in the lab. The boom in genetic engineering. That guy's an interesting guy, isn't it? That's the guy. It's like an evil scientist or something. How about 1994? It's 2 years after the Rio Convention. Genetics, the future is now. New breakthroughs that can cure diseases and save lives, but how much should nature be engineered? Anybody see any of these along the way? I know, don't be ashamed if you didn't raise your hand. I didn't. 1999, special issue, the future of medicine. And the little subtitle down there, how genetic engineering will change us in the next century. See, there was no under the cover whispering about this. They flat out said it, but nobody was paying attention. How about 2015? The gene machine. What the CRISPR experiments mean for humanity. This was after, of course, CRISPR technology was invented. That's the snip and clip way to change genetic code. 2015. And then here's another magazine, Scientific American, that came out with a cover of Progress and Controversy, Genetic Engineering. And the reason I put this in was point 1.2 down in the middle of the white spot. The RNA revolution, just so you could get it. I want to make the connection here. That when you talk about the RNA revolution, people argue with me, well, that's not DNA. Bull. They don't know what they're talking about. It isn't DNA truly, but it's an intricate part of the system of how the body functions. So we have, of course, 1.3, an on-off switch for genes. This sounds like science fiction.
Did you hear what he said? He said an on-off switch for genes. Now I've done, let me bring myself back up here. I've done videos, presentations, etc. over the last 3 years talking about the chromosome 8, about the ability to go in and basically take chromosome 8 out of the genetic infrastructure. Chromosome 8 is what the scientists of this world have studied and titled it the God gene. So this is the aspect of the inner being that quote unquote turns up when you meditate and when you pray and when you have a connection to something deeper than yourself. They studied Muslims praying, they studied Christians praying, they studied Buddhists and people in the temple, people who had a strong energetic resonance and love for what we call God, Allah, etc. And so they recognize in these people that when they were in those meditative and religious states, that there was an aspect of their DNA that lit up. That's why they call it the God gene. Now, what is the technology? He mentioned CRISPR technology, women of the world, women of the world. Do you know what that is? Do you understand the implications and the ramifications of what that means for the human species? See, the problem is that we've been mistrained, misinformed, misdirected to leave the science to men. And that's part of the reason why we're in the condition that we're in now as a human species. We left the science to men. We left the academia to men. And look where we are. So CRISPR technology, or the third strand of DNA. What is the third strand of DNA? What does that mean? Does that mean it's going to change you? Is it going to alter you? And then in the scientific intervention in our affairs, we referenced Brother Tyrone Hayes from Cal State Berkeley, who did the tests on the toads and the animals, not the animals, the toads and the frogs, and applied Syngenta pesticides, which is on the majority of the produce in this country. They applied the Syngenta to the toads, and the frogs started having the male frogs started mating with the male frogs. The male frogs started developing female anatomy. If you identify as an LGBTQ person and you're not interested or intrigued or alarmed by that, see, this is the problem. You can't only be out for self, only focused on your community, what matters to you, what matters to the people who live like you. That's what makes me a woman. Because I'm concerned with the full picture. I'm concerned with humanity. I'm concerned where we're headed. I'm concerned about the world my son is going to grow up in. I'm concerned about the world your children are going to grow up in. I'm a woman. I got to smile because, people like to send me messages and say I never smile or smile. And I can't stand that. I don't smile on demand. I smile when I want to. So if you do that, just expect a sturdy response. Like, I don't know how to smile. I'm just saying, it's irrelevant, but it's still relevant in my world. So Tyrone Hayes did the research, Cal Berkeley, right in the Mecca of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm not calling it Sodom and Gomorrah just because of the sexual connotation. I'm talking about the wickedness going on in California. This place is a habitat for devils. How do we know? Because the quote unquote PAN, demic has been officially declared as over, but guess what? They're still mandating the Jim Jones juice in the schools. What say you, LGBTQ community? What's your position on what they're doing to children in terms of mandating these inoculations? Do you have a say? Are you concerned? Are you worried? Are you invested? Does it matter to you? You want to argue about what makes a woman? I'm showing and proving what makes a woman right now. My love and compassion and empathy for children. Are you concerned with drag queens going and reading books and having connections and relationships with preschoolers and kindergartners all over the world? Does it matter to you? Can you put your personal way of life, your personal sexual identification to the side and do what's in the best interest of those children? That's what makes me a woman. And by the way, just because I'm balanced, because this is real life for me. There is a whole organization called Gays Against Groomers. Shout out to them. And this is the balance. I can acknowledge and appreciate, regardless to where we may differ or be on different sides of the fence. I can value and appreciate the fact that there are people in the LGBT community that are standing up for children. It's rare, but then it's also rare for women. It's very rare for Black women. I am absolutely disgusted at the lack of input and emphasis and insight of Black women in America in particular. You've already been through this with the Tuskegee experiment. You've already been through this with go read Medical Apartheid and let Harriet Washington school you on how much they've been scientifically monopolizing, creating all kinds of cures for diseases, creating all kinds of utensils and utilities that have made billions in the medical industry by experimenting on the backs of African slaves in America. You've already been down this road. How could you be so complacent? How could you not care? You're lining your children up for danger, Savannah James. Respectfully, yeah, I said it. And I would say the exact same thing to the lady down the street that nobody knows, that nobody cares about.
I mean, when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello.
Who the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between you and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane? What's the only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Stop talking out your fucking ass. Wake up. How are you projecting your anger on real women? Because we are the gatekeepers. We are the gatekeepers for periods. We're the only one that fucking bleed, honey. We're the only ones that can give birth. We make y'all people. We make y'all. Y'all come from us. You can't be us. You will never. You're chasing something you'll never, ever get. You'll never be that.
Like, hello.
I almost feel it's almost absurd to respond to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a part of me that just wants to close the whole computer and just leave the room. Cause it's like trying to, okay. So first of all, transphobia, the connotation, the phobia element that you've added on to transphobia. Phobia means there's a fear. In every sense of the word. How you justify that, how that community, how that culture, just like homophobia, it's not even those words are not even etymologically valid. Okay, but transphobia in the proper representation or understanding of the word means that there is a fear of trans people. There is not. There's no fear. There's no fear. One, period. Cis women, no. There's no, cis does not, there's no reason for you to incorporate those three letters in anything when it comes to men and women and children. There's no reason for you to use, utilize, or incorporate those 3 letters when it comes to men, women, and children? Do I need to go back and replay the science? The original, the authentic, the organic. Do we need to, because I just kind of scratched the surface. This can be proven in no limited time. So I wrote down cis women, but I'm gonna emphatically cross that out because you got me twisted. Again, I pushed a child out of my womb. I'm not looking for validation. I'm not looking or seeking understanding. I'm not seeking your permission. I don't care what you think. My son originally was a before he even came to be, he was a thought in my mind. And then the act of it's a word that's on the tip of my tongue, the sperm meeting the egg, me making way for that sperm to reach the egg within my, and the whole cycle. What do you think a period is for? What do you think the menstrual cycle is for? And God bless this world, because religion got a lot of y'all really hating, the idea that women are dirty because they have menstrual cycles. It's insane. All of the religions, whatever concept, I can deal with that too, but I digress. You don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. Nobody owns periods. What the hell are you talking about? That's how I know you don't have one. You've never heard a woman that actually has a cycle refer to owning her period. That's insanity. I own my body. Once a month, my body goes through a physical process in order to prepare it for an egg being released in the event that I choose to, or end up having a child. What do you mean you don't own periods? What are you talking about? You don't own womanhood. You know how silly that shit sounds? Do you really understand how silly that sounds? You don't own womanhood. You just experience both. Okay, well, do you experience a period? Are you buying tampons and maxi pads? What's your preferred brand? I'd love to know. Do you buy tampons and maxi pads? Do you have a menstrual cycle once a month? No, so why are you even talking? It's the stupidity for me. I say some people are so stupid, not even God can help them. I think this is a prime example. And by the way, you see that imagery from the person in that video? This was the imagery that I'm talking about, because a lot of you women are walking around looking just like this. Shaping and molding yourselves in the images of men who want to look like women. This is why there is this clash of the titans, so to speak, when it comes to these two worlds. Because we can't tell some of you guys apart now. No disrespect, but it's just true.
True or false? Only women get pregnant.
True.
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 Very true.
Absolutely true.
True or false? Only women get pregnant.
False. False. Because there are trans people that exist, and trans men can also be pregnant as well.
False.
And what are your pronouns?
They, them.
That I just love oversimplifications.
True or false? Only women get pregnant.
This is a circus. Ask me what my pronouns are. God having a human experience called ZaZa Ali. That's my pronouns. You ask me that shit on camera, you're gonna get your soul snatched. I assure you.
said when trans women are able to carry children due to a uterus transplant?
Creating competition when it's not necessary is a sign of insecurity. Either way, no one would be upset, but I don't think we'd recommend it. I don't think we should really be talking about this in the same way we talk about other transplants, because you're supposed to have a heart. You're supposed to have a kidney. The male body is not supposed to have a uterus. And because you're biologically male, if you were to get a uterus transplant, your male DNA in conjunction with your male body would treat that uterus like the infection it thinks it is and attack accordingly. So before you even start talking about having children, you need to try to survive the transplant. You don't naturally produce enough progesterone to maintain that uterine lining. You could take it synthetically, but that will probably cause you more harm than good. You also don't produce enough blood to keep both you and baby alive. Your pelvis is too narrow and too thick, and it's not designed to spread. It would literally scatter. So no one would be upset. Try it if you want, but why would anyone be upset over something that would literally end you?
Now, like I said, and thank you to the sister for so eloquently saying, I hope you guys could hear it, but the volume on that video was bad. I think it's because he had his volume on and hers. I don't know why people, I guess because I make content, I'll never understand why people add themselves in videos of other people's videos when you could just show the original video, unless you're adding something to the conversation. That makes absolutely no sense to me, but I actually make content, so there's that. But the reference was a uterus transplant. Trans people can get uterus transplants and have children. Like I said in the beginning of this video, the science is gonna deal with a lot of this stuff. And to be honest, looking at the world around us now, I'm starting to think that the science is already sort of caught up with us, because I don't know if a lot of these people are actual human beings. I don't know if these people have souls. I don't. Did they clone Tyrone? Did they clone her, him, they? You walking around identifying yourself as a program. I think we need a you know, I'm gonna say something silly. I keep jokes. We need a tool and a utility to test to see if people have souls. You know how when you used to go to the doctor and they take a hammer and hit your knee to see if your knee jerks to see if your legs are functioning properly? We need a device where we can tap somebody in the, where's my pen? Anybody home? Do you have a heart? Is that thing working in there? Can you think for yourself? Can you feel for yourself? Are you a living, breathing entity and human being? I don't think so. Oh, just a woman, what she said in terms of the uterus transplant and how your body would attack the quote unquote uterus, thinking that it's a foreign entity, which is basically the whole infrastructure of what the immune system does, which is why they had to be so methodical in terms of the cloning of just oranges. And when they developed the technology to clone fruit, we just talking about fruit. When they developed the technology to create genetically modified food, it took them so long because they had to find a way to trick the biology of the fruit, because the minute that a foreign element starts to try to penetrate the DNA, I don't know if that's the right language I should use, but the genetic makeup of the fruit, the system would automatically reject this entity that they're trying to inject into the fruit in order to learn how to clone it. So it took them a long time to even learn how to maneuver around being able to clone fruit. Your immune system, when it's operating at its proper capacity, any foreign element or entity that enters your system, your immune system is automatically going to rally the troops, the gangsters, the soldiers in your body, the warriors in your system automatically get turned up and get the signal, everybody on deck. We need everybody to meet over here by the lungs. There's a foreign element. There is a cancerous entity in the body. All hands on deck. So that's why I said the science is gonna solve a lot of these issues for us. The common sense issues that have now become complicated things. In my book, Keys to Womanhood, let me bring up, because we're going to talk about this particular concept of womanhood. When women live, this is from Keys to Womanhood. When women live together in natural settings, their ovulations tend to occur at the time of the full moon, with menses and self-reflection at the dark of the moon. Scientific evidence suggests that biological cycles, as well as dreams and emotional rhythms, are keyed into the moon and tides, as well as the planets. Specifically, the moon and tides interact with the electromagnetic fields of our bodies, women, subsequently affecting our internal physiological process. The moon itself has a period when it is covered with darkness, and then slowly beginning at the time of the new moon, it becomes visible to us again, gradually waxing to fullness. Women, too, go through a period of darkness each month when the life force may seem to disappear for a while, premenstrual and menstrual phases. We need not be afraid or think we are sick if our energies and moods naturally ebb for a few days of the month. In many parts of India, it's perfectly acceptable for women to slow down during their periods and more. So we're talking about cosmology and science and biology all being interconnected. And nobody had to have a uterus transplant. Imagine that. Women who live in the same environment or who stay in a certain environment for a specific amount of time menstrual cycles will line up and manifest. They'll experience their cycles at the same time if they're around each other for a long enough vicinity. Imagine that. Should this be respected? Is this powerful? Is this important? Does this have anything to do with womanhood? We know you don't have a period because women do not enjoy periods. Women are not online jockeying and begging for attention for having cycles. We don't want to be nowhere around anybody when we're going through that time of the month. Just leave me alone. I don't want to be recognized for my cycle. I don't want no attention for my cycle. I don't need men online and people online arguing about what. I don't even want anybody talking about it. I just want to get through these next 3 days. If you have a healthy cycle, your cycle is 2 to 3 days. If you eat garbage and you eat dairy and you have your internal body is unhealthy, then your cycle is probably going to be super, super heavy and you're going to have major clots, and it's probably going to last 5 to 7 days, if not more than that. I talk about that in the book as well. I'm just saying. The woman has been blessed with the honor of 2 wombs, both portals for the universe to express itself in the physical realm. Her physical womb is the vessel through which God manifests in the flesh. Her mental womb is the vessel through which God manifests its wisdom. Don't play with me. Ooh. Ooh, wee. Ooh. She is creative, not created. And you guys can argue, the religious people, you can argue amongst yourself. Because I don't have time for that right now. We have a lot of things going on in the world that need my attention. Let me come back and see if there's any other videos I wanted to play. So this video right here, this is this lady talking about, she's a swimmer, and the whole idea of male athletes who are now transitioning to female. I'm not going to play it because it's a little bit longer, but there are women out here saying and doing what needs to be done. And shout out to her. So she's just basically expressing herself about the fact that how can I, as a woman and female athletes, compete against men, biological men? Why would you even want to, if you're a top tier athlete, why would you even want to compete against somebody that's not as physically acclimated as you. I was very athletic in high school. I always wanted to compete against the best. Why not? If you're a real athlete, if you're really competitive, if you really want to prove that you deserve the medal, that you deserve the title, why are you trying to go, you want to be the big fish in a little pond? There's nothing powerful about that. Create a new league amongst yourselves. That would be my recommendation.
Well, they say that 80% of kids who experience any sort of gender dysphoria as children grow out of it. So when you have a society that reinforces it, and then in Canada, they're passing laws now that say that if a kid says, you have a girl and the girl says, I'm a boy, and she's 3, that the government can come into your house and take the kid, because obviously if you don't want to humor the kid and get the kid treatment or surgery or hormone blockers, then you're obviously doing something wrong to the kid. This is just, it's insane. First of all, if anyone tried to do that with my kid, I would meet them at the door with a gun. I mean, this is the kind of stuff where you're talking legit civil war. Like when you say that the government can take people's kids from them because the government knows better than you how to parent your kids on basic things like, are you a boy or a girl? That's going to get violent pretty quickly. If you send someone to my door with a gun saying, I'm taking your daughter from you because your daughter says she's a boy at school, and you're not going to take her to a psychiatrist to start her transitioning process. Oh, no. Well, they say that 80% of kids who experience any sort of gender dysphoria.
He said 80%. He said 80%. What kind of world? And by the way, Canada is a habitat for Satan. I don't know how anybody could live in that place at this point. There's no way, when you understand what Canada has done, has implemented over the last 3 years, that place is a habitat for Satan. I would not step 1 foot on that land right now. He said 3 years old. I wouldn't even let my child go outside alone at 3 years old, let alone to actually make a choice or a decision about their bodies. So I need you to understand, this is stage 1. They want complete dominance and control over your children. And if they can get them at 3 years old, because step 1 is just, okay, well, let's take them out of the home. Step 2 is, have they taken the shot? No? Okay, well, then let's implement that. Once that happens, everything is emotion. Going back to the conversation about transgender and transhumanism. You should know that, women, ladies, the women of the world should know that. Black women should know that. Melanated African women should know that. You should have a position. You should be using your platforms to talk about it. You should be using your prayers and your meditations to raise the vibration and the consciousness on this planet, understanding that there is a full-fledged war happening on children, not just your children, all children. That's what makes a woman. So where's the transgender and the LGBT community when it comes to 80% of children who identify with what they call gender dysphoria? 80% later on in life regret making those decisions, and God forbid, making those surgical changes to themselves. Where are you on that? What's your position on that? Oh, you can't think about the subject beyond yourself? You don't care about what's happening in the greater scheme of the world, human beings in this civilization, in this society, and what this world is going to look like 50 years, 100 years from now? You don't care? That's why you're not a woman. Told you guys I'm gonna be toggling back and forth. I just gotta, I need to make these points. This saves me a lot of time. Where is my video? Michigan House passes bill using the wrong pronoun a felony. This is a habitat for devils. You gonna put somebody in jail for not identifying somebody as a they, them? You don't say anything to me, I won't say anything to you. How about that? Now we don't have a problem.
Any man, and I've said this before, that is attracted to a trans woman is not gay. Any man, and I've said this before, that is attracted to a trans woman is not gay. Any man, and I've said this before, that is attracted to a trans woman is not gay.
He don't even believe that. You don't even, so does the trans man, I mean, I can't, it's hard for me to say this without even sounding vulgar. I want to say it, but I want to say, this is the word I want to say, and y'all, I'm a backtrack, but this is the word that came to my mind when I first saw this. Are you penetratable? I'm not talking about the other hole. It sounds crass and it's vulgar, but what else can I say to something so stupid? You could never sit on a stage with me. Let me just, this is not even about me. Let me just stay on point. Lord have mercy.
Stem cells from the child actually migrate in to the maternal system. But studies in Rome at the Vatican, guess what they found? Many of the child's stem cells end up in the nervous system of the mother. So think about it this way. The brain of the mother is like a culture dish that contains stem cells from her own child. And I say, so what's the significance? I say, her child can be on the other side of the world, have an accident, and she can experience it. Stem cells from the child actually migrate to the maternal system. But studies in Rome at the Vatican, guess what they found? Many of the child's stem cells end up in the nervous system.
Thank you, Bruce. Okay, so did you hear what he just said? Shout out to Bruce Lipton, one of my faves. Let me bring myself back up because I need to make this point, and I need to be dramatic when I make this point. He said, now remember the video we watched, we saw that two-way transmission happening when the child is suckling from the mother's breast. There was a line that was going back up to the mother's brain, and then the line came back down, but the line going up was blue. The line coming back down was cream, right? So we're talking about a transmutation sending a signal up to the mother's brain, and then a signal coming back down. This is also happening through fluid, right? This is why everything is frequency, because even the fluid, there's an energetic resonance that's taking place and a download that's taking place between the mother and child. In Keys to Womanhood, in the chapter on the, I forget which chapter it is, but I give I give a quotation from the book, The Magic Child, I think it was, where the doctors were in Uganda and they were working at a clinic, working with the African women there. And they noticed that the African women were carrying their babies in the, the cross the back wraps, right? How you normally see African women and just women in general carrying the babies tied on the back, right? They noticed that the babies weren't wearing Pampers. And the women would take the babies out into the bush for them to use the bathroom. And so after a certain while of observing this, they realized that these women were getting a signal when the babies had to go to the bathroom. So the doctors were like, do you ever do you ever, get too busy and you don't know that the baby has to use the bathroom and you end up getting soiled? And they laughed at them. It was laughable. What do you mean, you primitive white man? No, sorry, I couldn't help it. That's probably what they were thinking though. So the woman is getting so what did Bruce Lipton say? He said that the woman's nervous system, the mother's nervous system is intricately connected to the child, to the mother's nervous system, or her brain is intricately connected to the child in a means that if that child is on the other side of the world and experiences an accident or a tragic situation, that the mother will automatically resonate with it. And there's eons of stories all across the world of mothers intuitively knowing when their children are in harm. So again, I beg your pardon. You are so disrespectful to the Creator. You are so ignorant of the beauty and magnificence and power of a woman. So in Uganda, where the quote unquote primitive people are, right, according to the West, the mothers are receiving a signal in their brain that is notifying them when their babies, their infant babies who can't talk, can't walk, have to use the restroom, and they know exactly when to go to the bush, not 2 minutes late, not 10 minutes early. They know exactly when the baby has to go use the restroom, and it's a smooth process, and it's been happening since the beginning of time. And everybody in Uganda and all of these other areas in Africa and anywhere where the organic, natural, original people are still close to God, this system has been functioning and operating since the beginning of time. Do you have this capacity? Do you have this power? Have you ever experienced it? Have you ever given life to another human being? Have you ever felt a baby kick inside your body? You better stop playing with me. I just put this together in 2 hours. I sat down 2 hours before I sat down to talk about this and just put this together. Y'all better stop playing with me. You could play games with these NPCs and these silly ass women and these silly ass Black female celebrities that are 100% in alignment with this agenda because they don't have a choice. Fertility rates all over the country are plummeting, all over the planet, excuse me, are plummeting. I have a video for this, but I have it in my notes because I know I've been talking for a minute now. What time did I start? I started at 5:24, so I've been talking about an hour and a half now. Okay. It looks like our audience is consistent. Welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to have you here. ZaZa Ali, a true original woman. Pure-blooded, too. I'm just saying. I'm not making mockery. It's just true. 100% organic. Pure USDA. I'm not even gonna say USDA. I'm gonna say sun, moon, and stars because, you know, organic, authentic woman. I've given life. I brought a life in from the unseen. It was magic. He didn't even exist, and then he appeared, and he was beautiful, and he was healthy, and he was everything. And you don't respect the process because you don't respect life because you're not living. Fertility rates plummeting all over the world. We think, you know, what's his name? What's the devil's name? Death of the West. Pat Buchanan wrote that book back in the late 1990s, talking about the fertility rates of white people and how white people's numbers were plummeting, and how, you know, by a certain time the planet was going to be a majority of Black and brown people. Well, we might need to reassess that position post 2020 because fertility rates are plummeting. And I keep seeing people talking about Russia and how Russia is coming into Africa and saving, and Russia's supposed to be the glitch in the matrix. All you got to do, if you want to know if any of these countries are playing for Satan or they're playing for God, look up their statistics of the Jim Jones juice. 88 million people in Russia have taken it. So who is he working for? And somebody asked me in the comments, well, what if his people aren't taking, what if he made the shot and he ain't giving his people the real shot? Well, that just emphasizes the point because he didn't tell your ass not to take it. He's not in Russia. I mean, he's not in Africa while he's forgiving African debt that really never should have been debt in the first place. And Black people are cheering that like that's some sort of monumental occasion. International Monetary Fund, et cetera, going in Africa and creating airports in areas that don't even need airports. They need food and water, coming in and creating quote unquote infrastructure and putting you billions of dollars in debt And then all of a sudden coming in and being the nice guy and relieving the debt that never should have been there in the first place, and y'all cheering that? I bet he ain't in Africa telling them not to take them shots. They said the article, I talked about this in my headline news segment last week, I think it was, the last one I did, episode 36. The surrogacy has surrogate, meaning people having children through surrogacy is expected to increase by 129% by 2030. What? What do they know that we don't know? So while you're so busy trying to compete with women, what you need to be doing is trying to create safe spaces for women to be women so that we can stop the fertility rate from plummeting and so that we can stop the necessity for surrogacy. That's how I know you're not a woman, because you're not concerned with the affairs of women. I am. 129% increase projection estimated by 2030. What say you? Are you using that as an excuse for why you need to create new scientific and technological anomalies in order to find ways to create women or create children or create life without women? Good luck with that. What the Quran say? I'm totally going to butcher this passage. Was it the Quran or the Bible that says, "What will you place on the earth except that will make mischief in the land?" What can a technologically contrived life form create on this planet other than what will make mischief and madness? Because like creates unto itself. Mind detects mind. You waiting for the Christ to come. Is he gonna come through a woman? I don't know. An incubator? He came through a woman and you don't value the woman, you just waiting on him. Okay, what if God sends a woman? Imagine that. What will you do then? Oh, you passport bros. All of the men who like to sit online and settle online and complain about women, sitting around and gossiping and doing podcasts and shucking and jiving around a bunch of bimbos, classifying and declassifying and minimizing and playing games and disrespecting and demoralizing and making mockery of women while you surrounded by concubines. Bring me on the show. Let's talk. Have me on the show. Let's talk. A lot of you males are worse than a lot of you men. Males would probably be more appropriate. You also lend to the climate of where these people think they can just go online and sound off and disrespect women and talk shit and talk fly because there's no repercussions. Everything's fair game. Well, if you can disrespect her and you can disrespect her and you can disrespect her, why can't I? There's a video. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I just want to emphasize this point about how they're going after the children. Since y'all got so much time to sit online and talk about and argue about what a woman is and what a man is, et cetera, when are you going to talk about these children? Let's talk about what they're doing to the children, how they're going after the children. Where is this video at? Damn it. Okay, maybe I didn't save it. Let me see, is this it? No, that ain't it. Oh, maybe it's in here, let me see. It's a video of the Muppet Show. No, that ain't it. Okay, so, oh wait. No, that's not it. Okay, well, I digress. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that video. So they're showing a video of the Muppets on, let me see, what channel was it on? I think it was one of the main channels. Maybe it was HBO or Cinemax. Maybe somebody in the chat room will know. But the video was of the Muppets, and Gonzo was coming out as trans. And there's so many videos on YouTube where people are exposing this, TikTok, everything. People have been showing these videos of, they're putting it in cartoons now. I saw this back when Cuties came out on Netflix. I knew then instinctively, they want people to know the whole pedophile element. My homegirl sent me a video on, I think it was HBO, of this guy in this really sexual, intimate setting with a child. They're making it mainstream now. They're not even hiding it anymore. Cartoon characters coming out as gay, cartoon characters getting surgery to be made women, cartoon characters having two fathers, cartoon characters identifying as lesbians. Will the real women please stand up? You a trans woman? Okay, cool. What do you have to say about that? You don't care? Oh, okay. You work for Satan. Women, ladies, Black women, African women, Native women, original women, white women, Asian women, Latino women. What say you? Get off your ass. Get off the internet shaking your ass, talking about shit that don't mean nothing, worshiping Beyonce and Rihanna, worshiping celebrity culture, the people who don't give a damn about you, who would step over you in the middle of your suffering and your pain, who are actively involved directly or indirectly in this wicked agenda. What do you have to say about these people going after these children? What do you have to say about the books in the libraries and the books in the schools? What do you have to say about the pedophile energy that's increasing every single day? You talking that shit about you a woman. Okay, prove it. Do you care? Do you know? And I'm just talking about the transgender element right now, because women, you need to be put on the mat. Your asses need to be put on the mat. I'm dead serious. I am so underimpressed. I'm so underwhelmed. It is disgusting what we are allowing to happen to these children. It is disgusting how afraid we are to actually come out and talk about the things that really matter. It is disgusting that we are allowing them to put this poison in these children's arms. You walking your babies into Satan's clinics and doctors, and then turning up on the weekend, calling yourself a city girl. What's happening? The purge is on. God is about to wipe a whole lot. A lot of y'all about to get taken off the set. And I've been emphasizing to my membership channel and the people that I'm making content consistently for, spiritual shrewdness is the order of the day. You got to learn how to be spiritually shrewd, because it's a lot of chaos and insanity and suffering and ignorance permeating the airwaves, permeating our environment. And you just skip into your loo like a damn fool. Harm, danger everywhere. The devil is on 10, putting out symbolic messages of demons. How could anybody in their right mind still be supporting Travis Scott at this point? Please help me understand. I'm looking at a lot of people real suspect. How could anybody in their right mind be supporting Travis Scott right now? This is off topic, but it's still relevant. This dude had a mass blood sacrifice in front of the world. People died. They put out footage of it. And you know how you know? I'm gonna tell you how you know. I was gonna do this video in my membership channel, but it just came to me. The same day that he was supposed to have the concert, which was July 27th, if I remember correctly, the Houston Police Department put out a a memo or the investigation results from their investigation from the event that took place the exact same day. So what does TMZ, who is absolutely controlled and run and ruled by Satan, TMZ, because the devil is a wise scientist and Hollywood is the main progenitor of his powers. I say his, that's not even the right program because it's the right pronoun. You want to talk about pronouns, pronoun that shit. What's Satan's pronoun? Depends on who he's operating through. He's Agent Smith in the Matrix. So the day that Travis Scott is supposed to perform in Egypt, and it's been canceled since, but they put out all this misinformation about it was, okay, it's canceled. No, it's not canceled. And I'm checking Live Nation. I'm not even looking at people's, what people are saying on social media. I'm going right to the source. So everybody's saying it's canceled, but Live Nation is like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Who owns Live Nation? I'm just saying. Some of your faves work for Satan. So they finally canceled it. I think it was the day before. On the day of the concert, the Houston Police Department releases their investigation results. And TMZ posts what? A video of all of the people in the crowd getting CPR. Reliving and remonetizing and reacclimating people back into the trauma of that experience. And God only knows how much brainwashing took effect, because these concerts now with these huge screens, with these huge LED lights, with all that plasma energy coming off of those screens is having a very negative impact on people's psychology and people's overall well-being. I don't need to be in the concert to know that. I understand what the lights were created for. Like the exosphere in Las Vegas with the round ball that looks so beautiful. That's a ritual. That is a nonstop energetic resonance demonic portal right in the heart of Sin City. So you go into these concerts that got these huge Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Astroworld. The screens are enormous and people are sitting right in the front row looking up at their gods while being hypnotized and magnetized and brainwashed. So at this point, we don't even know if going to the MK Ultra concept of this, because the devil is a wise scientist, if they can put out a video or a song that will trigger the people that attend those events and activate them. That's how I think. Because I know what these people are capable of. That sound far-fetched to you? Okay. I hope I'm wrong. I wasn't wrong about Morgellons and scientific intervention in our affairs. I wasn't wrong about organ trafficking and scientific intervention in our affairs. I wasn't wrong about chemtrails and geoengineering and genetically modified foods before those things even became mainstream. I'm just saying it's not about me because I'm not the only one. Many others have said it. But my track record for projecting these things, or not projecting, but profit, it is what it is. But again, we don't respect the divine feminine. You need a man to say it, huh? Well, what if God sent me? Michigan banned sex change operations. Was it Michigan? No. Michigan is the one with the wrong pronoun. You get a felony. Missouri bans sex change operations. Well, okay, so is Missouri moving in the right direction? Is Missouri or Florida, are these the glitches in the matrix? Just go check the Jim Jones juice statistics, and that's how you know. I think, what was the other story? Africa is one of the nations, Malawi, I think it was, is no longer using French as the predominant language there, which is a step in the right direction, of course. But I have a question. What are the statistics of the people that have taken the Jim Jones juice? That's how you know who they're playing for. Oh, ZaZa, that's not it. Everything isn't about that. Yes, it is. Right now, yes, it is. Going back to the transgender, I mean, the transhumanist element, y'all are not, women are supposed to see the whole picture. Your spiritual spidey senses are supposed to be ticking, are supposed to be jumping. Black people all up in arms about Black History Month in Florida. Why aren't you all up in arms about the statistics of mandating the shot in schools? Why aren't you up in arms about transgender, or not just the transgender drag people into schools that are reading books and all of this silly shit? Why aren't you up in arms about the acclamation or the projection, the sexual projection, the effeminizing, the masculinizing, the creating confusion in terms of the sexes in preschool, in kindergarten, in middle school? Why aren't you upset about that, Black people in America? Because you're programmed. Because you are so stuck in race-based consciousness that you can't see the bigger picture. Maybe you don't care. Where's the collective consciousness on that? I'm not worried about whether white people are teaching Black history or not, because they're not even teaching the real history anyway, first of all. And I just wrote a textbook. So instead of being mad at the white man, why don't you support me? They teaching that watered down ass history. Been teaching it. When I was in college, I used to be banging on my African studies teachers. Black people teaching this watered down version of Black history. Textbooks got slave images and all of the Black men look weak and pathetic and all of the women are sexually being represented in all of the textbooks. Yeah, I was a beast in college. I was. And I wasn't as, as mild as I was. Well, I was mild then, but I'm just saying, no falsehood will exist in my vicinity. And I'm bringing resources and books and printouts. I brought one of my art history teacher, I bought her a stack of resources. She didn't know Egyptians were Black. Okay, let me help you out with that. Only women aren't the only ones who can get pregnant. What will you produce? Remember how I used to talk about when I was doing I was traveling and doing presentations, and I was talking about the baby maker in Atlanta. And so this was years ago. The baby maker in Atlanta was two females who on Craigslist found a man who was willing to donate his sperm. So they took a turkey baster. They had the guy come to their house. He went in a room. He got his rocks off. He put the sperm into a contraption or whatever. They took the turkey baster. They used the turkey baster to put the sperm inside of, ironically, the masculine female, because she was the one that had to carry the child, like the brat. I'm just saying. So they used the turkey baster and it worked, and they had a son. And while the son was still in the mother's belly, they were playing music. They would play audiobooks of men in the background so the child could be acclimated to masculine energy, so that the child would know a man's voice. So see, you instinctively know that it's necessary for both. You instinctively know that God set the order up for masculine and feminine to both be present, and for those two, masculine and feminine, to unlock the codes within each other. Because nothing can unlock the power in a man like a woman, and nothing can unlock the power in a woman like a man. This is a fact. So they became known as the baby makers. And so they started helping other women in Atlanta use this artificial insemination technique to have children. I'd love to see a follow-up to see the condition of these children that they produced. Are they high functioning, high vibrational beings? Do they have their full mental and emotional acumen intact? Are they physically sound? Are their bones strong? Are their joints strong? Are they powerful? Are they adding value to the world? Are they creating? Are they expanding consciousness? Is this young man who was a baby at the time, has he grown up to be a power, self-loving, righteous, powerful human being? So again, what will you create other than that which makes mischief in the earth? I don't give a shit what you think about me. You can't cancel me. I've had way too many public interactions where people have tried to, for me saying controversial things. I represent the true and living God. That's my focus. That's why I care about chemtrails and geoengineering and heart, because I love nature, because I love the planet. That's why I risked being censored and took major financial losses over the last 3 years, because I care about you and your children, probably more than you even care about them yourselves. You can't cancel me. What you can do is listen, though. What you can do is learn. What you can do is respect the science. What you can do is respect the architect. What you can do is respect the wisdom that's coming from my mouth and from my mind. Because we are all on this ship together. We on the Titanic and we all heading for a big ass iceberg. And y'all turning up and twerking and talking about hot girl summer. Yeah, shit's about to get real hot for a lot of y'all. You better be very careful about who you laying down with right now. Y'all want to talk about polygamy? You want to talk about man's ability to have multiple wives? Good luck finding one of pure blood. You gonna reproduce yourself with something other than? What will you create? What are these people? What are these children? The products of the children of two people who have received the new operating system. I'm trying to be delicate in my words because I'm still mindful and conscientious that probably half of my audience that will listen to this video have that shit in their bodies. By the way, I wrote a 5-page article called If You Took the Shot that is laced with research, heavily researched content and information from the last 3 years with my suggestions about what you should do if you took that shot. But guess what? The article is not just about my recommendations of what you should do. I'm telling you what they put in your body. People don't want to know what's in their bodies. They just want the remedy. That's why you're in the situation you're in right now, because you don't love God. Because if you did, you would have trusted God from the beginning. You would have trusted the immune system. You would have trusted the organic, authentic elements, the powerful shit in your body that's automatically going to tell you when something is wrong. Now, if the mother can, through the process of breastfeeding her child, if her child has an ailment or a physical illness or a disease, and that baby's saliva is going back through the breast and going into the brain of the mother to tell the mother that there is something off in the baby's body, and then her body then produces the chemicals and the necessities to cure that baby of that illness, you don't think that you have that same connection to God? You don't think that the earth can nurture you back to health the way a mother can do it for their child? I wake up breathing fire sometimes, bruh, because the devil is busy. And a lot of y'all have made soul contracts with Satan and you don't even know it. Because you wanted to go to Dubai or Greece. God said, I gave you everything. The devil gave you nothing, and you still followed him. They didn't promise you a cure. They didn't promise you you wouldn't get the CVD, Fugazi. They didn't tell you it was going to improve your health. They didn't tell you, they didn't give you any, excuse me, any emphasis on well-being. They said you're going to take it or. God don't come in that spirit. God is not going to ever make you compromise yourself for the sake of the greater good. That's not even righteousness. Now, Satan been turned up on our planet for the last 3 years. What have women been doing? What have Black women been doing? Besides putting out content to keep the world locked in a low vibrational frequency, stuck in a sex-based energy, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Lotto, Beyonce, etc., etc. Your sheroes, just keeping you occupied. We're on the Titanic. Remember they had the band go up to the top of the Titanic and play music? Everybody knows we're on a path of destruction, but at least we can feel good about it on the way. You better atone. You better repent. You better figure out why you took it in the first place. You better stop acting like there's not a big ass elephant in the room. You think this is about promoting LGBT culture and about promoting transgenderism. These people are systematically getting you ready for transhumanism. You've been altered. You've been changed. You made a deal with the devil. Now, if that sounds too harsh, if that sounds too difficult, why you didn't say that shit when CNN and MSNBC were ridiculing people like me? You too, really, but people like me. Talking about putting people like me in jail and not allowing me to leave my house and not allowing my son to participate in the world because he didn't take NAIR shot, didn't take no test, none of that. Again, we're 100% rocking with the true and living. Why you didn't stand up for me? Why you didn't represent me? Why you didn't tell people to support me? And I'm not making this particularly about me because there's plenty of people who were trying to bring this to your attention. The problem is you already were disconnected to source. That's why you didn't see the devil coming in the first place. So what is a woman mentally? I'm going to sum this up because I have exhausted a lot of energy. I feel like I just did a whole lecture. Much love to everybody in the chat room for the super chats. Much love to everybody. I haven't been looking in on the conversation, but the chat room is moving consistently. So I see you guys are engaging and I think that's a good thing. Hopefully you're listening too. What is a woman mentally? Mentally, in her righteous, organic state, a woman is seeing the bigger picture in terms of what's happening on our planet, in terms of what's happening in the collective consciousness, in terms of what's happening with her man, in terms of what's happening with her children, in terms of what's happening with herself, in terms of what's happening in her extended family, in terms of what's happening in her community. She's looking at the full picture. She's concerned with the health and well-being. Mentally, she is creating structures and infrastructures and systems. And I don't mean she has to be an engineer or doing some major, projects on the ground. You can create an infrastructure in your mind. You can create an environment for people to come and learn anywhere. So she is mentally, in her thinking, always focused from the abundant space of providing love, providing compassion, providing empathy, looking at the bigger picture, being mindful about her actions, how she speaks, how she thinks, how she behaves, how she projects, her energetic resonance. See, I say you can be a good woman. You can be a woman. You can be a good woman. You can be a queen. You can be a goddess. A woman. I mean, I think do we really need to emphasize that at this point? I've been talking for 2 hours. You can be a good woman where you just focused on your household, making sure, you know, the house is domesticated, the children are taken care of, your husband is properly taken care of. You are leading in your own specific right in terms of the things that you are good at. You can be a queen where you are focused on the way that your energetic resonance, the way you carry yourself, the way you think. You are thinking beyond just your personal household and thinking for the collective consciousness and how to make the environment better, how to expand the environment, how to make it safe, how to make it, and I'm not saying women are supposed to be militarized or the protectors, but a woman is naturally always in her right mind, concerned with the safety of the people that she loves. And then a goddess is focused on self-rulership, self-mastery. She's focused on her mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical resonance and how that is what leads and affects the masses. When she goes out into the world, her energetic resonance is shaking shit up. Changing people, expanding people, just through her presence. That's a different level of womanhood that most women don't even aspire to. What is a woman emotionally? I mean, the love frequency. Greg Braden told us that after 9/11, that the satellites, they have satellites that can measure the electromagnetic field of our planet. And after 9/11, they saw a huge uptick, a major spike in the energetic resonance of the planet because there was such a massive emotional response from human beings because of the fear and the tragedy and the danger of that experience that we all went through when we watched that event happen, which we all know now, the people who are paying attention, that it was a fugazi, that the people created that event created artificial intelligence. Yeah, shout out to all of the minions online promoting and selling artificial intelligence. I got your number too. Working for Satan in the name of money, in the name of finances. Did you really watch The Matrix? Did you see how the movie ended? Did you see all the people in the scene where all of the bodies were locked in the artificial wombs? When Neo had to be released from the artificial womb, but he was one of billions who did not. Did you watch the film? Because y'all said it was a documentary, right? You love Sophia Stewart, right? She's an oracle, right? But you didn't listen. Again, rejecting the divine feminine wisdom. So if there was a spike in the electromagnetic field, of the planet after 9/11, which is 100% viable and true, because human beings are nature. It's not nature in us, we are nature. Just like a tree is a part of Mother Nature and bees and flowers, etc., so are we. That's why we go back to the dirt, our bodies, our physical bodies. So measuring the electromagnetic resonance of the planet, which is female. I mean, how else can I say it? It's a womb. Everything grows from, we are Mother Earth. I mean, I don't need to get into that, do I? I don't think so, not on my channel. So this feminine reflection called Mother Earth had a spike in its electromagnetic frequency that was measurable because they measured the emotions of the planet. And then women are the emoters. We are the heart of the planet. Everybody, we'll all agree women are more emotional than men. Yeah, we know because we're operating in our heart chakras when we're in our organic, righteous state of mind. You can never try to minimize, stop being emotional. No, you need to love something, bro. Where's your love? Where's your heart? What are you invested in? What are you passionate about? What are you creating besides getting a bag? What do you really love? So women as the emoters on the planet affecting the energetic resonance in the electromagnetic field of planet Earth, and you still don't see her as sacred, and you still don't value her. She is the portal that life comes through. You started with one being. She created a life, and now you have two, and you have the audacity to disrespect her and the child. Our culture is sick to be emphasizing and demeaning and mocking single mothers. You know how disrespectful that is to God? That's why a lot of y'all are cursed, spiritually cursed, as if the child is not a miracle, as if a child from a single mother doesn't have value, as if it's not a walking, talking, living, breathing miracle. And y'all done created a whole subculture of men, males, peons, peasants, pick your word, that make mockery of single mothers and let the men fly off into the sunset and go to the Dominican Republic or to Brazil and find a concubine to recreate the whole process again. Yeah, I said it. Not saying all women in Dominican Republic and Brazil are concubines, but that's what they're looking for, because water seeks its own level. So women are the heart of the planet. Don't ever let nobody tell you otherwise. What you need to do is fine-tune your understanding and your respect for the love frequency and understand the difference in the love versus the fear frequency, because most of you are operating in fear-based consciousness. That's how the devil gets in. If you were listening to your heart, you never would have laid in the bed with that fool in the first place. If you knew how to properly interpret the messages that your heart's giving you, you would have steered clear of those doctors and those scientists when they were trying to sign you up for that poison. That's the power of the heart and the electromagnetic field, and the power of understanding your emotions. It's a guidance system. What is a woman spiritually? I mean, I just gave you 2 hours of heart and soul. I'm heavily invested in your well-being. I'm invested in you feeling love and feeling powerful and feeling inspired and having clarity and feeling good about yourself and having something to look forward to. I need you to stop playing with your life and focus on your well-being. It is imperative to me, because I'm thinking about the condition of humanity. I'm thinking about the condition of the planet. I'm thinking about the condition of women. I'm thinking about the condition of men and children. That's the spiritual power. My essence will live on long after I'm no longer here. Heart and mind cohesion is the key to unlocking the power of the spiritual realm. So the third dimensional reality and the spiritual realm are intricately connected in order to understanding who you really are and elevating into your highest and best self. That's spiritual. I read the Bible, I read the Quran, I study the Tao, I study Buddhism, I study all of these different spiritual teachings, and they're all important and they're all valuable in their own right. But guess what? I am God having a human experience called ZaZa Ali. It don't get no more spiritual than that. Does it make you uncomfortable to hear a woman say that? Well, welcome to the show. Physically, what is a woman? I mean, do we really need to go there? Do I really need to go back and revisit that? You know, women have hips so that their bodies can push the baby out, right? Her physical form is shaped a certain type of way so that when she has the child, that her body will completely acclimate to be able to nurture and take care of that child from the beginning of life until the child is actually physically produced. And then her body starts on a new trajectory once the baby comes into the world. Now milk out of nowhere. her body, which has never produced milk before, the milk that has all of the nutrients, all of the minerals, all of the sustenance that a child needs to be reared and acclimated to his highest and best self. You bought Similac, but your body had everything the baby needed. And I know there's caveats. I know some women have issues producing milk. A lot of that has to do with your diet and your state of mind, etc. But I digress. But I'm talking about the organic, authentic aspect of a woman's body. Now she's producing milk. As long as she wants to produce milk to feed that child, she can. Every month, her body is going through a purging and a cleansing process so that at any time when she's ready to bring life into the world, every month she gets a reminder, hey, you ready to create something wonderful yet? You ready to make a miracle yet, ZaZa Ali? Every month you get a reminder that God loves you. Every month you get a reminder that you are a walking, talking, breathing, living miracle. And your body is cleansing itself and is detoxifying any negative particulates that have made its way into the anatomy of your body. I mean, should I go on? Because I can. I think I've made the point. So, Hollywood is full of NPCs. Stop waiting on people in Hollywood to tell you what you should be doing. Stop following these people. You better learn how to tap out of talking about being in this world and of this world. That's the prescription. What does that mean, ZaZa? You tell me. What does being in this world and not of this world actually mean? I did a video a couple of days ago called The Rabbit Effect. Look this study up online. If you're in the membership channel, go watch it. Where in The Rabbit Effect, they did a study at Columbia University. Well, the lady who wrote the book was from Columbia University, but they did a study back in the 1970s and found that they were feeding rabbits low, high fat diets, foods that rabbits don't eat, foods that are very detrimental to their health. So they fed it to a control group of rabbits. For some reason, most of the rabbits were being negatively impacted. They had high cholesterol, their blood work was coming back, negatively impacted because they were feeding them terrible food. But there was a small group of rabbits in the control group who, for some reason, were not being negatively impacted. Their cholesterol was normal. Their blood cells actually were higher than normal if a person was eating a regular diet, let alone a toxic diet. What is that? And so what was the outcome? It turns out that one of the doctors who were a part of this study, unbeknownst to him, he had no idea what he was doing. He would take some of the rabbits and rub them and give them attention and talk lovingly to them and treat them with kindness. The animals that he treated with kindness consistently, who were still eating a toxic negative diet, those animals had clean blood. Their blood cells were operating at a higher capacity. They didn't have high cholesterol. They had normal cholesterol. All of their internal body was operating at a high capacity, and they were still eating a negative diet. What is that telling us? Your vibrational resonance, your frequency, how you eat, how you think, how you eat, how you feel, how you breathe, how you think, and how you live. That's my definition of frequency. Frequency, vibrational resonance, whatever you want to call it. How you think, how you feel, how you eat, how you live, and how you breathe. Your vibrational countenance is determining the experiences that you are having in this third dimensional reality. Your vibrational countenance is determining the type of men and women you attract. Your vibrational countenance is determining, in the Bible, it talks about the mark on the door. Easter Sunday is talking about having a mark on your door that will protect you when the armed guards or when the devil or when Satan comes to your door. If your vibrational countenance and resonance is in the love frequency, they will never come to your door. We think it's all about the bag. We think it's all about who you know. We think it's all about fame. No, I'm sorry to tell you, the true and living God has given us a prescription that is actually not that difficult. My heart. There's no way I could get in front of this camera and talk nonstop for 2 hours and give the type of energy that I have just given in this video if I didn't care. And yes, I am a lioness, and yes, I will take a sword, and you know what I'm saying? It just it's the way that I'm built. I'm a spiritual gangster in every sense of the word. But on the inside, I'm just a teddy bear, all heart, passionate, courageous, a nerd, a tree-hugging nerd that loves the earth, that loves humanity, that loves my people, that loves love. And I've been trying to tell you for a long time now. And I've been trying to warn you. And I shifted from being focused on Black consciousness to being focused on the mental and vibrational and spiritual countenance and where we needed to be headed, because I saw the signs. A lot of our people are locked in race-based consciousness. You won't have anything to talk about if you're not talking about the white man. I think we should challenge ourselves to not talk about white people for a month and see what happens. But a lot of y'all are tethered to the trauma and the dysfunction of the white world. You have become a lot like them. There's no way that I could sit down and talk to you and give you this kind of spirit and this kind of love if I was not of God. That's what a woman is. Thank you to my sister for holding me down in the chat room. I love you, Penny. I'm gonna call you in just a second because I gotta make sure that I was on my P's and Q's. Thank you for the Cash Apps. I saw a couple of notifications. I'm grateful for that. I haven't checked my phone, so I don't know. Thank you for all of the super chats. Thank you to you guys who support me. I've written 6 books, 7 books now that's officially getting ready to come out in print. Support my work, support what I do. Everything that I've talked about, I have actually put in written form in order to help you through these times. So make sure that you guys are supporting the people that support you. My membership channel is where all my content is from here on out. And, you know, again, I appreciate your time and attention, and everybody that shared this video and everybody that engaged and watched the entire time, because I know I'm a lot, but so, you know, should not be a lot. Should not be a lot. I'll see y'all real soon. Peace and love.